Congressman, House Appropriations Committee member Tony Gonzales. Congressman, it's good to see you this morning. You've been out front on this issue, and I think voters are grateful. What's your take on what the administration is doing now, telling Arizona to remove those shipping containers?
Thank you for having me this morning, Maria. It's absolutely despicable what the administration has done to people along the border. They've abandoned us. And what they're doing is they're trying to bribe a lot of these local officials by giving them FEMA dollars. And guess what? FEMA's not meant to be used indefinitely on this border crisis. I've seen it get worse. You know, I had the president of Guatemala call me about 2 days ago, essentially pleading with me to lean on the administration to put some pressure because his country is getting overwhelmed now. He's going, Tony, there are thousands of people at my border. They're going to be at your border here in a couple of weeks if the administration doesn't step in.
So even the Guatemalan president is upset about what is taking place here. I mean, there are illegal migrants everywhere in America. Congressman, we're monitoring New York City, for example, and Randall's Island this morning. More migrants are expected to arrive at this newly constructed tent shelter. The city's homeless population is outraged as these tents feature lounge areas. They've got massive TV sets, video games. They get new phones. All of this going on with Venezuelan migrants asking, what about us? The homeless population has been sitting on the streets. There was never a tent for them put up. They say that they feel betrayed by the administration, who's now deporting them to Mexico under Title 42, Congressman. Your thoughts on what the administration has done in response to this crisis?
Maria, this is what an America Last agenda looks like. And look, this is all systematic. If you remember about a year ago, the vice president went to El Paso, and there she had one of the local congresswomen, Veronica Escobar, said, "Welcome to the new Ellis Island." Well, this is what the new Ellis Island looks like. People are on the streets. Americans are put last. I was just in El Paso about 5 days ago, and what I saw there reminded me a lot of what I saw in Del Rio a year ago. There were hundreds of people under a bridge, and there were thousands of people in custody with no end in sight. People just walking back and forth like there was no border. This is what an America Last agenda looks like. We have to stop this. We, the Republicans in the House, we have a plan with this commitment to America. We win back the majority. You're going to see things change.
Well, I mean, you mentioned El Paso. The mayor of El Paso is contradicting himself now over the report that the White House pressured him to not declare an emergency over this crisis. Watch this.
Did the White House ask you not to declare a state of emergency?
Absolutely not. The chief of the U.S. Border Patrol, Chief Ortiz, and he does not support declaring a state of emergency at this point. Our congresswoman has urged for us not to do that, and our county judge does not support that at this point. We may have to do that. I mean, there's going to be a point where we may have to do that, but at this point, and the White House has asked at this point for us not to do that.
Well, I mean, there you go. It's pretty clear what the White House has asked the mayor of El Paso. He, pulled it back because he probably got a call from the White House to say, don't go with this publicly.
No, absolutely. Maria, I've seen this exact same play happen in Del Rio. The exact same play happened in Eagle Pass. And now it's happening in El Paso. It's only getting worse.
Unbelievable. Tiana, jump in.
Okay, Congressman, you mentioned Guatemala earlier. Now we're seeing the share of migrants who are coming in for the first time in, since the Northern Triangle took over Mexico for being the majority hub of where these migrants are coming from. Now it's coming from beyond the Northern Triangle. So if Republicans do take control again, and if there is some power, if there is some ability to restore some of those, do you think that these Northern Triangle countries would be in favor of restoring the same safe third country agreements that was able to staunch that bleeding at the latter half of the Trump administration? Are they upset enough about this migrant flow to want that consensus brought back?
I do. And, Guatemala in particular is jumping up and down, begging to be a partner. They're going, what is happening in our country, it directly impacts you. He goes, this week we found 8 Afghanis within this group of migrants. So it's not just people from Venezuela, it's from all over the world.
Yeah.
So it's dangerous to everyone involved. So yes, these countries are begging for partnership. He's asking me, hey, can you lean on the administration to have them give us a call? We're looking for the United States for leadership to bring Panama and others to the table.
So what's the point? Is the point here to just get more people to vote Democrat? Because in Washington, D.C. right now, there's an effort to get non-citizens to vote. Right. So, I mean, connect the dots. Is that what this is about? Because no one in their right mind would have an immigration policy to have a wide open border where 80 people were already apprehended from the terrorist watch list, where, drug cartels who are taking home $300 million a week, $13 billion made just last year from the dangerous cartels just on human smuggling, are dropping fentanyl through drones in the country. I mean, nobody in their right mind would have an open border policy this way. Is it all so that they could get more voters and hope that they vote Democrat?
It could be, but, I'm a Mexican-American descent. I'm a Hispanic descent. You're seeing in South Texas, several candidates like Monica de la Cruz and Mayra Flores. Yeah. So it's not necessarily given that Hispanics are going to vote Democrat. What I do think is happening is the Democratic Party had this romance with what an open border looked like, and they're getting the realities of what an open border looks like. Wow. And they don't know what to do. And they're completely overwhelmed.
What inaptitude. It's incredible. Congressman, thanks very much for all of you're doing and your leadership. Tony Gonzales joining us this morning in Texas. Thank you, sir.